Hello, everyone. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about the comic book series Manifest Destiny. This was created and written by Chris Dingus and illustrated by Matthew Roberts. And I believe the series began in 2013, so 10 years ago. Now I found out about the series, I guess, what was that, 2014, so 9 years ago. Yeah, I guess I was on Amazon and saw the very first issue, volume one, and picked it up. And I think I liked it, but I didn't really want to wait for each and every volume to come out. So I kind of forgot about it. But recently I started reading Stephen Ambrose's Undaunted Courage, which is about the real life Lewis and Clark expedition, and kind of got back into the Lewis and Clark mood, I guess you could say. And so I picked up the all 8 volumes of this comic book series and have been going through them again. And I like them. I mean, they're okay. I mean, they're not really historically accurate, but they're not really meant to be. That's basically instead of the Lewis and Clark expedition being a expedition for discovery and science and all of that, in this comic book series, they are actually hired by Thomas Jefferson, the President of the United States, to go and essentially clear the entire Louisiana Purchase of monsters and creatures so that settlers can come from the east and settle the west. So it's a pretty cool idea. And I have to say, the artwork is definitely the high point of this series so far. I think I've gotten through half the series, so I'm about volume 4 in. But yeah, the artwork stays consistent. Really, really good. The creature designs are great. Like, really looks good. The uniforms, the weapons, all of that stuff is very well done. So kudos to Matthew Roberts on that one. Now, as far as the writing goes and the story, pretty much, it's okay. It's pretty predictable. I mean, this was 2013, so there's going to be some revisionism, historically speaking. Like, basically, Lewis and Clark in the story are former Indian fighters and soldiers, and basically, they're just coming out here to kill everything, pretty much. And Chris Dingus knows his stuff. Like, he definitely did research on Lewis and Clark, the real expedition. And, he knows that, like in the comic book series, Meriwether Lewis is kind of the more scientific minded fellow, while William Clark is more the soldier. He's the one that's going to really kick ass and kill monsters and stuff. So, he's got that kind of right. Like in real life, Meriwether Lewis was trained by the best doctor in the United States on botany and medical care and all of that. And he went and hanged out essentially with all the great scientists of the day because Jefferson wanted Meriwether Lewis to be able to survive, report, document, and just survive this journey all the way to the Pacific Ocean because essentially no white man had really gone all the way through to the ocean from the Mississippi River. So it was just a blank spot on the map essentially. So they had no idea what was out there, and Lewis had to be properly prepared and trained for that. And in the comic book series, it's interesting because instead of really being trained on navigation and botany and taxidermy and all that, he's kind of more trained to kill monsters. So he like has a chest full of, specially designed weapons and stuff. It kind of reminded me of Van Helsing, that Hugh Jackman movie. Just all the gadgets and stuff he's got. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. So Lewis and Clark themselves and the comic books are pretty interesting. Their crew are very different from the real life guys. Like, these guys are familyless killers essentially. Like, basically, Lewis and Clark were like, all right, we don't want to take good men on this suicide mission. Let's just go to the prisons and just get whatever we can get. So, that's not really how it was, but yeah, it kind of makes sense if you are going on a suicidal monster rampage. You don't exactly want to bring family men with you. So that's kind of interesting. And probably the one character I dislike the most so far is Sacagawea. She shows up in volume 1 here. And, In real life, Sacagawea was like 16 years old, and I mean, she was of great help and asset to Lewis and Clark in the expedition. Like, they loved her. Didn't really care for her husband. Was his name Shabaro? Yeah. They didn't care for him too much, but Sacagawea, they loved her. But seeing how this is 2013 and Lewis and Clark are perceived to be, instruments of colonialism and all that jazz, basically Chris Dingus writes Sacagawea as a unlikable Mary Sue. Like, she's just able to kill monsters and save the day, and just back talks Lewis and Clark, shows them no respect, doesn't even like them. And in the end, it just makes it kind of like, like Sacagawea is 16 years old, weighs like 90 pounds, but she's gonna just slaughter monsters. Okay. It's just, but hopefully she gets better later on in the series, but yeah. But I really liked Volume 1. The monsters were pretty cool, and the history and just the look and feel of it was really, really cool. Like, Volume 1 definitely stands out if you read it. And it was just a cool idea. Like, let's turn, Lewis and Clark into monster hunters, essentially. But not just monster hunters. Like, they are having to clear out pretty much everything because settlers have to come in here and live. So you can't have giant buffalo, centaur, minotaur creatures killing, settlers. So they have to clear them out. So, yeah, as far as a Volume 1 goes, this is very interesting, very good. And if you want to check it out. Just be prepared. I mean, this series gets pretty dark, and a lot of people are actually complaining on Goodreads that, oh, this is kind of formulaic, like Volume 2 and 3 and 4. It's like, okay, so we're just going to have Monster of the Week, essentially. And I'm like, well, duh, can't you tell from the title? Like, Manifest Destiny Volume 1, Flora and Fauna, those are going to be the enemies. And then the Volume 2, it was Amphibia and Insecti and all that. So it's like, well, it's kind of hinting with the titles, So yeah, I mean, if you're okay with that, and it's getting kind of formulaic for me because I'm just like, all right, Dingus, you're just gonna make everything bad that can go bad go bad. So it's just kind of like, okay. But like I said, I'm only halfway through the series, so we'll see how it goes. But as far as, Volume 1 goes, definitely check it out. And if you want to go through the rest of the series, well then, kick ass. I'll see you at the Pacific Ocean.